The Yankees' perception of Anthony Volpe slightly changes, which can lead to a rivalry. There is plenty of time for Brian Cashman and company to pull out both big and small adjustments. However, expectations for improvement would mostly come from within if the Yankees, whose biggest offseason transactions to date have been the return of Trent Grisham and Ryan Yarbrough, and who are attempting to reach an agreement with Cody Bellinger, bring back essentially the same group of players from last season's LDS losing team. This leads us to Anthony Volpe, who plays shortstop for the team. The team has believed for a number of years that Volpe, a 2019 first-round selection and one of the sport's better prospects, has more to give than the below-average stats on the back of his baseball card. Despite Volpe's lack of success, the team has maintained for a number of years that it has faith in him. Publicly, that faith still exists. Volpe should be a good player for us, according to manager Aaron Boone. Do I believe in Anthony Volpe? Cashman asked. Yes is the response. However, the general manager also subtly opened the possibility of a shortstop competition this week at the winter meetings. Volpe had shoulder surgery to fix a partially torn labrum, and the Yankees do not anticipate him returning before May. José Caballero, who performed well in 40 games following the trade deadline last season, is the obvious internal successor, barring a spectacular upgrade like Bo Bichette, a free agent, C.J. Abrams, or Corey Seager, subjects to trade discussion. Boone and Cashman reaffirmed that they still had faith in Volpe. However, when discussing Caballero, Cashman also mentioned Grisham, a player who joined 2025 as an afterthought and whose talent required that he become an everyday option. Caballero, whose bat soared with the platform following the trade from the Rays, slashing .266, .372, .456 in pinstripes, and who has stolen 93 bases in the last 2 seasons, may have more than a month to make an impression. José Caballero, who performed well in 40 games following the trade deadline last season, is the obvious internal successor, barring a spectacular upgrade like Bo Bichette, a free agent, C.J. Abrams, or Corey Seager, subjects of trade discussion. Boone and Cashman reaffirmed that they still had faith in Volpe. However, when discussing Caballero, Cashman also mentioned Grisham, a player who joined 2025 as an afterthought and whose talent required that he become an everyday option. Caballero, whose bat soared with the platform following the trade from the Rays, slashing .266, .372, .456 in pinstripes, and who has stolen 93 bases in the last 2 seasons, may have more than a month to make an impression. Volpe, a native of New Jersey who grew up admiring Derek Jeter, was thought to be his hero's spiritual heir. He won a Gold Glove in 2023 for his outstanding defensive play following his spring training star turn, but as a rookie, he struck out too much, batted just .209, and hit for unexpected power, 21 home runs. He increased his average, .243, and gave up some of that pop for contact in his second season, but his OPS was essentially the same. The changes persisted last year, and he made another attempt to swing more forcefully. The same hitter has recorded OPS of .666, .657, and .663 employing various strategies. Boone stated he's got there a little bit differently each year, but the ultimate goal is we got to get that number to go up, and there's a lot of different ways to do that. Being more consistent on the power front, hitting for a better average, or getting on base more frequently are all examples of this. He has a great deal of talent. He is incredibly gifted. He has had some of his best moments during the most important periods. I recall how excellent he was in the 2024 postseason. So, it seems to be in there. Volpe had an OPS of .768 in 33 games prior to the May 3rd dive that injured his shoulder last season, before a September surge that coincided with a second cortisone treatment in that shoulder. His performance on both sides of the game drastically decreased. Volpe might have been on the verge of recovery prior to the health setback. Volpe's mission will be postponed if he wishes to demonstrate this. It is anticipated that he won't be able to swing until the middle of February, and he probably won't be able to dive until the middle of April. He probably won't be going back to the same level of job stability when he's ready.